Hi, I'm Gary Allen and welcome to a new project for us. Today, our topic is bulkheading. In a straight line? Well, no. I've run the stakes in a curved line. We're going to work hard to establish a permanent transition between water and land on the designer's landscape. Friends, while I have the exciting position of being designer here on this exclusive project, it takes more than that, really some engineering. So I need you to meet the installer and engineer for this project, Mike Costello with Tarmac.
Hey Gary, how you doing?
Mike, it's a pleasure having you out here today. Got a lot of hard work, I guess, ahead of us, huh?
Yeah, this isn't going to be easy. This is a laborious project that we got ahead of us.
How long have you been doing this, Mike?
Actually, my first retaining wall I did back in '84 in Connecticut.
Wow. Okay, so we're relying on your experience and expertise. I guess when it comes to a retaining wall, you could choose different construction materials to build it out of, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's you could do poured-in-place concrete, which is probably one of the most popular ones. They're using treated lumber,
right,
regular lumber, riprap,
railroad ties. I mean, on and on and on and on.
It goes on and on.
So even though I know the answer to this, why are we using the segmental retaining wall procedure here today?
Well, I wouldn't say there's one answer. There's probably a couple of different answers. Number one, you're going to get something that will last forever.
Yes.
You got flexibility of design. You do not have to be straight. You can do curves, you can do angles, you can do straight runs. Anything you care to do, you can do it with this material.
Excellent. Okay. And then as far as the ease of working with this, I mean, you mentioned labor intensive. How much does one of these blocks weigh?
That one there roughly weighs about 67 pounds. And
we have how many of them here, I guess?
I believe you have 500 of them.
Okay, so let's see, 70 times 500 is 35,000 pounds of material, 17.5 tons, so to speak. And all this has got to be really moved by hand down to the water's edge.
And strong arms.
Tell us about the block themselves. I mean, how they work.
The blocks basically work, you set yourself a good solid base, and you set one right on top of the other. And as you can see here, we have a 1-inch lip on the back, and that locks onto the one that's underneath it and gives you an automatic 1-inch setback. So the wall leans back a little bit every time you go up another row.
Okay, and as you mentioned, I mean, we've got a curve set up, and that's not going to be any problem for this
No,
diamond shape.
That's why they are angled as they are, to allow you to do, you know, any curve radiuses that you need to do.
As a contractor, what are my choices for color on something like this?
That's another benefit of these, is that pretty much any color that you can make in concrete, you can make with these. You can do your browns, your tans, your grays, reds. We manufacture them pretty much in any color you desire.
And here we've just got kind of earth tony tan or sand or buff color, whatever.
Sand, buff, pretty much what they call that.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Okay, we talked about engineering, and we'll really get to that aspect later. But first, initially, let's return to the water's edge and talk really about design, what we want our final product to look like and the shape of things to come. Okay, I have taken the liberty to stretch out a line of our property just for measurement purposes. Brought a pipe down, so this is about where we'll start or finish. We'll probably turn the corner and return back to earth or to the land. I wanted to show you also, wow, this tree root that has been undermined a little bit. This lake is not tidal, but it still, depending on rainwater, comes and goes. And you see this is very soft and spongy. What I'll want to do is when we get this wall built is find between two roots, cut back at a nice diamond or a close shape, backfill with some sand and kind of wash that in. I mean, that's a beautiful tree. It is leaning. Hate to lose him. So we're going to do what we can to kind of protect and save. Now, when we get to this part in the wall, we'll turn the corner back, turn a corner back here and taper up, and this will be a special stone like a grate that's got holes in it with concrete that will allow for a pad for us to drive down, whether it's a jet ski, little boat or something, just to get in and out of the water. And we'll also have to make a return here at the bulkhead. with the dock coming out, we'll take the stone wall and turn it back this way. Again, can you see the curve? Not too much of a meander here. It almost takes on the shape of the bank, but we get a little more radical as we cross over. Now, by radical, I don't mean radical bad, I mean radical good. We're continuing over the dock, and we'll come in behind this cypress tree, these two cypress trees, and then do you see us jetting out there as somewhat of a peninsula? We're going to try to build up the wall 3 feet or so. We'll backfill it, and that'll end up kind of like an island, like a peninsula setting. My thought was, why should we have just a straight bulkhead here when we can meander? And also, since our property goes well out into the water, kind of extend our backyard a little bit, and then have a smooth transition with the sod and all coming right back up to it. I've got some weeds here, and close to the bank, this whole section, well away from the water, I want to spray this dollar weed and get rid of it with a non-selective herbicide. I'll be doing that soon. Like I said, staying away from the water's edge, won't have to worry too much about there. A little bit of a challenge here, and that is these two cypress trees have these knees that continue to come up here. So I really expect the wall to kind of stop or dead end. We'll go to our existing earth here, and then we'll extend past that, again with another big curve. So got a lot of hard work here. Even this bank has got to be dug back 3 feet to do all the backfilling and packing. But I really like this peninsula idea. Take a look. Befores and afters are going to be a pretty dramatic change here. Can't wait. Well, what we've done with about 4 or 5 layers of sandbags here is created this wall, an inside wall, and I've taken bisqueen all the way down underneath that first layer, and I'm rolling it back to create this, really, a pool on the inside and separating a wall from the lake. Mike, how am I doing down here, buddy?
Yeah, we're looking good now.
Good, 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 good. Maybe you can really explain for us the procedure here for building the wall.
Well, what we did is pretty much as you just said, set up that wall, and the wall is done now, so we'll put a sump pump in here to remove this water to the other side of the wall.
All right, and I know we've got a layer of muck underneath here too. I guess we measured 18 inches or so.
18 inches of water and probably 18 inches of mud that we'll have to excavate out to give us a good solid base for our wall.
We can throw that back up in here against the bank?
Yeah, we can use that for fill.
Okay, why? Because we want to get to
something hard and something solid, something that we can depend on that's not going to allow our wall to have any settlement.
Okay. What's next?
Well, what we'll do is once that water's out, let this dry out a little bit and excavate that the base layer. And once we get that excavated back, we'll put some 57 stone in there to give us a good solid free-flowing base.
Now we've got a transit on the way also, at your request.
Yes. We'll use that to set up the top elevation of the wall, because with the water, we know it's down a little now, but we want to make sure the top of the wall always stays out of the water.
Okay, so we're more concerned with the top height rather than working from the bottom.
Right, initially. We can adjust how far we dig into the hard pan. The top part is probably the most important part. You want to make sure that stays out of the water, only because of mold and mildew may grow on it in the future.
Well, our goal though, again, is to get it level all the way down, even on the other side of the dock, huh?
Keep the same elevation from one end to the other.
Okay, super. All right, well, we're just waiting on the pump, but we can set it down here. I think I'm going to dig a receiving hole, a little cavity maybe to draw from.
Right.
And then will we get any, hopefully this wall, we'll find out if it's really permanent or doing the job, huh?
We may get a little seepage underneath the bottom layer of the bags, but other than that, I don't think it's going to be anything we're going to have to worry about.
Okay. Okay, super. All right, well, see, as we look down the bank there, the guys are even working on taking on that curve, the shape of the wall, removing, well, they've hit some roots in there, but removing that out so we can get a level grade to lay the first part of our stone. Okay, we have let everything kind of sit over the weekend, and it's really good because we had a little bit of rain. It's helped pack and settle even a little bit more. And I don't know if it depends how close attention you've been paying, but we had this up to grade at one point, but we added another block. We went 4 high here, and so now we need to continue to backfill with sand right up to the edge or back of the bulkhead wall here. And we also have a decorative cap, about a 2-inch cap that's going to go on top of here. I'll show you that in a moment, and it'll hide all the creases, have a nice finished look, and things have stabilized well. Again, this wall is solid all the way down. Now, I mentioned 4. We went 4 here and stepped down to 3 because we had them high up there, and it just looked, this end of the property is more shallow, so it was sticking way out of the ground kind of. So this is our transition right here. I can get some water lilies and all and kind of decorate this transition. I think it'll be soft, and we'll kind of work on that. Now we can really kind of start thinking about final grade and landscape. And this bed curves all the way in here, and I think we'll just continue that thought process so that the grass butts up, comes right in a nice curve and touches the bulkhead, continues all the way down here, and then this bed will really continue with the same line that it has, curving back to the bulkhead. So what we'll end up with here is a nice smooth curvilinear pattern on the grass. And then we'll extend our plants out here to kind of take up the extra space, even if we extend a few more boxwood in there. I think the ginger, I mean, these guys are big and bulky. We only planted 3 there. I can cut them back and now bring them, now that I know how big they're going to be, bring them out a little bit and let them take over. I wanted you to see what we've done here at the dock when we kind of made a return, basically. With the block coming along, what we did was take some of the polyethylene product here that we had left over, and we just shimmed it down in here, nailed it to the side, and so this is hollow underneath. I didn't want moisture around the wood of the bulkhead dock, so all we need to do here is just kind of keep filling, and our earth will just pack right up there with plants and mulch. It'll be perfect. Now, let me get you to take an overview. If you will, start down now where we have our 4 blocks high. Come on down to where we jump to the 3 and come alongside the dock here, and you'll be able to see really what we had at one point. I've gotten 4 high here, and it just felt like we were getting a little bit too big and bulky out of the water. 2 reasons were we went out further in the water with our 4 blocks, and plus the slope of the earth went up. Now we come down closer, a grade that's not as high, and we're just in very shallow edge of the bank water here. So these are sitting on top basically because we need to bring in a cut-off saw with a concrete blade, cut some of these in half to make that transition to the plastic product here. See, you can't turn a corner, otherwise we could do that with the block. There's no such thing. So we had to come in with that. Well, so this will come down. You see we need a little backfill, and also our brick down in here to transition to the water for a boat entry or jet ski, what have you. Take a look at the last island on the end there. Came out really cute. We get him landscaped, it'll look even better. I put a couple caps in place to kind of show you the final look here. And what's neat about these is they go in flip-flop, but both sides is decorative or rough cut, as you see. So this will allow you to lay 2 back-to-back to make any turn, and they can be cut or mitered if that's the case, and that needs to be done. Mike says these get glued in like a liquid nail process. You just put it on and seal it that way. We'll see if we can get him back out here to kind of show us that, but don't be surprised if we don't see him again. A lot of hard work he put in. I think he's pretty well tired. Well, and now that we've gotten at least to this point, what do you say we start talking about how we're going to decorate the bulkhead? Okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I've etched a line in here, and what I want to do is eliminate some of the big bulkiness here. So since I've got the sand line there, let's bring the grass in a big, smooth curve. Hope that looks good. We'll go around the tree here. We don't have to be too careful, we can stay pretty massive. What this is going to do is help us minimize some of this large part of the yard. And I'll take it really from this point and go right into the woods, if you will. Now, this sod needs to be removed, and we can really try to use it down by the bulkhead right close to the water there. Well, friends, we've got our cap on completely down the whole wall. We're bringing our grade up a little bit, and can you see here what we've done as far as separating the ginger. Back here, we need to pull those back. And this line is pretty simple. I'm just going to take some boxwood and extend our little line all the way to the bulkhead edge. And now, if you can look here, this line's pretty easy too. The Aztec just gets extended all the way to the end of the line. Well, a lot of hard work here, but a project that'll last long into the future. I'll look forward to seeing you on another Designer's Landscape. So long.